in that fish's mouth. He just engulfed it. What a nice fish. Look at that. Double hookup on the flies. Carl's is
triple. We got one on the right side here too.
No. I looked up to see the triple.
Yeah, Keith, jump on the one over here. Yep, it's off.
That's off.
Okay. I mean, not good. Okay.
Little one's.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
He's little.
This one's nice.
Yeah.
That's you.
No, we're keeping him.
Okay.
We're not keeping him. Just let him swim around for a second, Carl. I think it's working, guys. The box is filling with fish. And some of them are nice. That was a lot of hits right there. We had hits on like almost every rod or something crazy like that. Man.
It did. They all went on.
All four. So the blue was your third color, so you have two in the water, or?
Yeah, I just had just till the blue was showing.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. I was just wondering.
No, it was a little deep. There we go.
Oh,
that's good. That's perfect.
So two colors puts you about 10?
About 10 feet.
Okay.
Maybe a little less at this speed, but.
Oh, I see. That guy, I don't know, that was weird. It just kind of took a
well, it's probably
real gentle dive.
Oh, because sometimes they take that smaller fly nice and. I got excited.
Yeah, something.
This one? Oh no, it's the fish that's on the end of it.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to.
It feels real heavy, Carl. I don't know why it wasn't fighting.
Yeah, and it was such a it wasn't even like a strike.
Feels heavy, doesn't it? It's definitely a fish. It's absolutely positively a fish. Maybe it's a little one that got sideways or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it might weigh.
It
might freaking weigh 10 pounds. I don't know. No, it didn't do anything. When I picked it up, it went.
Swam along.
Oh.
It was weird. Then so am I. I don't know.
You're perfect for this job, Cal.
It's
You're perfect for this job.
Shit, this might be the fish of the day. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Junior trolling fly. That finishes out our limits for the day. That's probably a 5-pounder. Nice work, Carl. Good job. We didn't even know he was on the line for a second. That was hilarious. He was 175 feet back, maybe 3 feet deep on our work line up top. Good job.
All right.
Sweet. Yeah. Howdy guys, Cal Kellogg here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please take a second, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that bell notification, and that way you'll always know when I'm on here talking about fishing. Now, I could be down in the woods trying to look cool, you know, standing in front of a tree, getting sweat in my eye, whatever. But I finally got smart. I'm up here on my deck. I'm under my big umbrella. Got a nice cold Diet Pepsi there. And I just want to kick back and I want to talk trout fishing strategy with you guys. Probably Sunday when you're watching this. So grab a drink, get that phone in a comfortable position, or, you know, prop yourself up in front of the computer monitor or whatever, and get ready to think about fishing strategy. Okay, I have a pretty lofty goal for you guys. This coming season, this fall, winter, and the coming spring, the cold water months, I want you guys to have the best trout season of your life, and I want you to catch the biggest trout of your life. And today we are going to talk about big trout specifically. Now I want to give you a little background, kind of give you some data to back up what I'm going to share with you, okay? So back when I owned the Fish Sniffer magazine, I used to fish once or twice a week, sometimes with guides, sometimes, on my own. Very often I'd be targeting trout, sometimes from the bank, sometimes from a power boat, very often from my Hobie pedal power kayak, all right? Well, when I left the magazine, COVID kind of ended the Fish Sniffer. When I left the magazine and opened my own guide service, I ended up spending, not 1 and 2 days a week trout fishing. I ended up running 1 to 2 trips a day for months on end. All last fall, during the winter, and throughout the spring, I ran 1 and 2 trips a day, whether I had, morning clients and afternoon clients, or, morning clients, and then I went out filming and scouting in the afternoon. I had trout baits in the water a lot of the time. And when I wasn't out there, my business partner Wes was. So, we caught a lot of trout last year, and we caught more trout over 5 pounds than we can remember. Some were caught at foothill lakes and reservoirs, some were caught in the high country. The bottom line is we caught a lot of trout that a lot of people would consider trophies. Our biggest trout of the year was 13 pounds, 6 ounces. I mean, that's a trout of a lifetime in anybody's book, no matter where you're fishing. That is a huge rainbow. So we caught, almost threw something on the floor. We caught a lot of big trout, okay? We caught big trout on spoons. I remember I caught a 6-pounder on one of my crippled minnow spoons. We caught trout over 10 pounds on grubs, trout over 8 pounds on Trout Trix worms. Caught big fish on rapalas and other plugs. We caught big trout on flies. We caught big trout on a range of baits, and on any given day, we try to match our baits to the prevailing conditions and to the temperament of the trout. Having said that, 85 to 90% of the really big trout we caught last year came on one thing. It came on trolling flies. Now, they came using a variety of different flies in a variety of different sizes across a variety of different speed ranges, but the bottom line is 85 to 90% of those trophy trout, including the 13-pound, 6-ouncer, came on trolling flies. And that isn't a coincidence, all right? I spent my teens and early 20s fishing with fly gear exclusively, whether I was fishing streams or lakes, and very often, I'm gonna say the vast majority of the time, I could outfish gear guys tossing lures, tossing dough bait with flies. And when the bite would shut down on whatever fly I was using, I could change things up and reignite that bite. And it's not because I'm some great, fisherman, some guru, nothing like that. Here's what it has to do with. It has to do with the fact, and I've said this before in video, that trout see flies a lot less often than they see the lures that are commonly pulled at our lakes. If trout been in the water for any length of time, they've seen speedy shiners, they've seen castmasters, they've seen rapalas, and we know, little sweat action going on here. We know, based on the research done by the scientists at Berkeley, that when a fish hits any given lure and doesn't get hooked and doesn't get harvested, it still notes down in its memory or whatever that capacity is for them to recall the past. If you're a fish, they note down that whatever that item was is not a prey item. They're not afraid of it. They're not scared that it's a lure and they're going to get jerked out of the water. They just know that it's not any good to eat. So throughout these experiments, they would put these fish in a tank. They'd all let them, let every one of them hit a lure, and then they would put them back in their, their individual tanks, and they would keep putting them back in the big tank and re-exposing them to that bait. What they found was that those fish could recall that specific bait for up to 6 months. So if you're at a lake where everybody is pulling speedy shiners, there's a good chance that a lot of the fish in the lake have been conditioned to speedy shiners and aren't going to hit them, okay? If they hit it once, or they came up to it once and decided it wasn't something good to eat, they're not likely to hit that offering in the future, at least not for the next, several months. Now, very few guys are pulling flies, and I think that is a large, driving force behind why they are so effective. When I would be in a stream situation and guys were throwing salmon eggs and panther martins and stuff, and the trout would just shut down, I'd be catching them on, like a number 10 wet fly, something like that. Eventually the bite would shut down for me too. What would I do? All I would do would be downsize a couple sizes, go to a different, silhouette, body silhouette, or a different color, and the bite would come right back on. Why? the trout had become conditioned to the fly that I was showing them. They'd become conditioned to Panther Martin spinners. They'd become conditioned to, you know, Potski salmon eggs. So I'd show them a different fly, usually a smaller fly, very often a smaller, darker colored fly, and I could get them to go once again. So the moral of this story is, if you're not pulling flies, I can't stress it hard enough, you need to be pulling flies, trolling flies, whether you're pulling, you know, this classic white and red marabou fly, pink and black, something like that, a Magnum metalhead, a standard metalhead, whatever. If you're not pulling flies, you're not catching as many trout as you could be, and you're not catching as many big trout as you could be. Now, there's a lot more, you know, nuance to pulling flies and catching fish on flies and being successful with flies than that. There are different flies for different situations. There are flies for power trolling. There are flies for slow trolling. There are small finesse flies. You know, there are bait fish imitations. There are bright colored flies, all that stuff and more. We'll be getting into all that as we move forward, because I am going to give you guys an in-depth education on how, where, and when to troll flies, because I want you to catch more and bigger trout. Cornerstone, you need a selection of medium-sized trolling flies in a variety of colors. The types of flies you're going to get if you get one of my classic trolling fly kits or go seek the flies out on your own. You want a variety of flies that are anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches long. You want some bright colors, you want some bait fish colors, and you want some subdued colors. You want some browns, some olives, some stuff like that. That's going to cover the color spectrum. Beyond that, you need to troll the flies with confidence. You need to give them a chance to work, and you need to start to learn proper fly presentation. We almost always team our flies with an action disc, just like that. We almost always put our flies on 8 to 10 pound test fluorocarbon line. Sometimes we team our flies with dodgers. Sometimes we team them with flashers. Most of the time, we are trolling them absolutely naked with the action disc right on the nose of the fly, okay? Our speed range, anywhere from 1 to 3.5 miles an hour, depending on the situation. We tailor our flies to the speed. We tailor the size of the flies to the forage in the lake and the trout available. We'll get on into all that as we move forward here on the channel. Bottom line is, though, you need a selection of trolling flies, and you need to start trolling those flies. Give them a chance to work every time you go trout fishing, and you're going to learn the ins and outs of trolling them. It's very similar to trolling anything else. If you're a guy that trolls spoons, you can troll flies very effectively. If you're a guy that likes to pull speedy shiners, you can pull flies very effectively. Got to start playing with them. You'll learn the subtleties. You'll learn the ins and outs. Give them a chance to perform, and you're going to find out that flies catch not only a lot of fish for you, they're going to catch you a lot of really big fish. I'm sold on them. When I first started, trolling flies, there was a little bit of a curve. I had to give them time to work. The first really big fish I got on a fly was a 7-pound rainbow up at Lake Almanor. And after that, it was game on. I became more and more and more effective in my presentation with flies. And, last season speaks for itself. We caught so many big trout on trolling flies. It was absolutely incredible, including that 13-pound, 6-ounce fish. So hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be on here talking about trolling flies a whole bunch this next few months, because I'm trying to get you guys ready for fall, ready for winter, ready for next spring, and I want to give you an in-depth education about trolling flies for trout. It is a game-changer presentation that is going to catch you an inordinate amount of big fish. I'm Kel Kellogg. I'm signing off for now. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and if you're looking for trolling flies, and you should be, get on over to fishhuntshoot.com. We've got what you need in the store. My classic trolling fly kit is a winner, and my standard size metalheads are also a very, very strong bait. Anyway, have a great day. I'm Kel Kellogg. I'll see you real soon.